All right, what's going on, y'all? Well, I'm in the garage, and I think, well, let me say this. Having an old bike, I'm used to having leaks. I'm used to seeing leaks, seeing oil on the garage floor, on the ground. But on this chopper, I think we have an issue. Let me show it to you. Well, Houston, I think we have a problem. You notice all that oil? You know, like I said, I expect some oil leakage. That's why I kind of put a piece of cardboard under it when it sits for a while. I expect some oil leakage, but all of that, I don't expect. And I have misting here. You know, it's just, you see, it's caked on. All of that is wet and drippy. You know, it's, ugh. Yeah. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, so I've gone through and I've looked at lines coming from the oil tank. I don't see anything wrong there. I was looking to see if it was oil coming, you know, coming out of the heads, and there's no problem there. Upon further investigation, I'm looking at what's on the ground, and it's actually clear. It's not oil in the traditional sense. So what I'm believing I have is what I believe I'm having is a transmission fluid leak. So I'm gonna go through and check some of these bolts and see if they're loose. That's the only thing I can think of. I think it might be a trans, because what's on the ground is clear, but it's not the same consistency as motor oil. It's more consistent with 80-90 gear oil, which is what I use in the transmission casing. So that's what I think it is. I think it's transmission fluid. So let me go and tighten a couple of bolts around here and see if we got some bolts that may have backed out. That's what I'm thinking it is. And then we'll, you know, I guess top it back off and make sure everything is straight. Yeah, that's what I think. Okay, so after further investigation, I do believe it was some loose bolts around the transmission, like the kicker box. And so I think that was my issue. Let's see. So we look at this kicker box. These bolts were loose. All of them had movement on them. This was very loose. And some of these bolts here, I had movement on the outer part of here, all the way around the perimeter of the transmission. Had movement on them all. So that's why I'm assuming the leak. That's why I'm assuming the leak was coming from. And when I ride, it's just blowing back and blowing on everything from wherever it's leaking from. And then once I settle down and stop, it just all kind of forms along the frame line and stuff like that and just drips off. So that's what I'm assuming it is. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming it is. And that's what we'll go with for now. Phase 2 of this is I'm gonna take it outside in the driveway and pressure wash it, get all of this oil and stuff off, and dry it off. Maybe take it around the block for a spin, bring it back and sit it down. See if see if that stopped it. So we'll see. Let's take it out and pressure wash it now though. What's going on, y'all? So it is officially the next day. So I pressure washed the bike and I did take it out for a spin, brought it back in, and that seemed to help what I did. I tightened the screws on the outside of the kicker box and the transmission housing, and that did seem to help. So I wasn't getting any massive leaks like I was getting, but I also noticed that part of that issue was the issue of my oil spray over everything. Part of that issue was the crankcase vent filter was dirty. So I needed to have changed it, and so what I did was I went ahead and changed it out, and I think that was a lot of why I was getting back spray on everything. In addition to a few of those bolts on the transmission housing and the kicker box being a bit loose, I was getting back spray that was coming out of that dirty crankcase filter. And so that was adding to the problem. So like I said, took it for a spin and everything seems to be great now, man. So let me show you what the crankcase filter is. Let's see if I can get this thing turned around. Let's see. All right, guys, crankcase filter. Crankcase filter, you see it? That's it. Kind of mounts off of the crankcase. Crankcase in here, you have that filter that's sitting down there. Spun the old one off, spun a new one on. It's all clean and pretty. The other one was super dirty. So what I ended up doing was spinning it off. I sat it in some gas and just let it soak in gas. Kind of swished it around. Got all the oil out of it. Set up, let it dry. So I'll change those out for a while until they finally just, fall apart, But other than that, man, I found out the leak, what the leak was. So it's fixed and, everything is good now. So old man is back on the road and back in relatively good health. So I'm glad about that. All right, so we just want to thank you for tuning in and continue to join us on Indi-Hog TV on Instagram and Indi-Hog TV on YouTube. And we'll keep you updated on these 3 bikes, man, and what's going on. Appreciate you once again going in to eat some dinner, man. I hope y'all have a good evening and be blessed.